Hello everyone, welcome back. Midnight Mirage here, and today we'll be talking about Rumi. Finally, this took a long time. I love K-pop Demon Hunters, and one of their bands is Huntrix. And of the three Huntrix girls, Rumi is my favorite. I love her so much. She's funny, smart, and can sing and dance at the same time without sounding out of breath, which is not fair, by the way. Give me that ability. But one of the things I especially like about Rumi is she's very strong, but not in the, I'm a strong girl and I'm going to shove it in your face all the time and I'm going to be super annoying. It's, I'm strong and I'm going to use that to help the world. And I love that. Another great thing about Rumi is her character development is accepting yourself for who you are, and her point of shame is her demon markings. But anyone around the world could substitute their source of shame for her demon markings and relate the same way, which I think is just really cool. Another way they show that she's strong is her persevering through challenges, and I love that representation of strength. Now, those of you who have seen my other videos might be wondering why I drew Mira and then Zoe first before drawing Rumi if Rumi is my favorite character, and that's because I knew what I wanted for Mira and then I knew what I wanted for Zoe, but I never did know what I wanted for Rumi until way later. Since I said this in Darkstalker times, I thought it would be fun to have, instead of her being part demon, have her be part Nightwing, since being the same tribe as Darkstalker would probably scare a few dragons. At the very least, the Ice Wings and Nightwing. But if you look at Hybrids and Wings of Fire, it's more just unusual than I don't like you for that. I mean, Burned very strongly hated the idea of a Sandwing hybrid, but that was about it. Like, Sunny didn't have to obsessively hide the fact that she was part Nightwing, she just kind of didn't know, and then like, oh, I know now. So, in this world I've created, I needed something extra to give it the stakes that the movie had. So I came up with the idea of this disease that makes dragons do something. What that disease does, I'm not sure. Maybe it puts a voice similar to Guima's voice in your head, and that can drive dragons to do bad things. But if you have any ideas for that, let me know in the comments. But Nightwings would be more susceptible to this disease, and therefore hurt more dragons. So if there were a Nightwing, you just really wouldn't trust them as much. But other tribes can get this disease as well, because in the future, when I do draw the Saja Boys, I don't want to make them all Nightwings. But with this new disease idea, instead of demons, I think when the Huntrix girls kill a bunch of demons, in this universe, they wouldn't be killing demons. Instead, I think they'd send them back to the equivalent of the demon realm or something like that. So I knew I wanted Rumi to be part Nightwing, but I didn't know what other tribe to do for her. I mean, Rumi isn't a Mudwing. Seawing was already taken, plus Rumi is very tall, and I don't imagine Seawings to be very tall. What about a Rainwing? Well, Rainwings are typically lazy, but there are plenty of Rainwings who aren't. But I think the main problem I have with this is Rumi wouldn't be able to hide it. Rainwings love to play hide and seek all the time by, going invisible and stuff like that. But if Rumi had these innate skills that she couldn't change the color of, then she wouldn't be able to hide that, especially with hide and seek. And even if she did cover it up, that's still visible. So it just wouldn't work. Sandwings are usually survivors and live in a tough environment. This could work for Rumi. It didn't really scream Rumi to me. Maybe it does for you. So I do think Sandwings sing and dance more than the other tribes. What about an Icewing? Well, Rumi just doesn't have the grumpy vibe of an Icewing or even a Skywing. She really didn't grow up with the culture of an Icewing. And Rumi being a Pantalan dragon just doesn't make sense with her backstory. So I decided to make her a Nightwing-Sandwing hybrid. Now that I knew a bit more about what I wanted for her, I needed to figure out the position. I chose to do the scene from How It's Done where she's like, na 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 na, because I thought it was really fun and I didn't quite know what else to do. For colors, I just used her skin and the color of her jacket because it fit for the Sandwing vibe. For her weapon, I didn't quite know what to do, but I ended up just attaching it to her tail like I did for Mira. Logically, this would make more sense since she has a Sandwing tail barb and therefore would be more used to using her tail as a weapon. So it just worked perfectly for that. But anyways, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next week. I was a ghost, I was alone. 계속해